Hello once again. This is Teacher Joyce from Teacher Joyce Corner. So, how are you? I hope that everything is fine. How have you been? Okay, so I hope that everything is great. So, today I will be sharing with you about a very important topic, which is the subordinating conjunctions. Okay, this is our topic for English 5 quarter 2. Okay, now, what is a subordinating conjunction? A subordinating conjunction is uh, it shows the relationship between two clauses, the dependent clause and the independent clause. Now, let us first understand what is independent clause. When you say independent, it has complete idea and complete thought. So independent clauses are complete sentences. They begin with a capital letter and end with a period. For example, I baked a chocolate cake. My mom is a doctor. Number 3 is my grandfather taught me how to solve math problems. The woman sang a beautiful lullaby. So as you can see, independent clauses has subject and predicate, and it conveys complete idea or complete thought. Now let's move on to dependent clause. Now what is dependent clause? Dependent clause means the idea or the thought is incomplete. So an independent clause is not a complete sentence, even though it has a subject and it has a predicate. Why? Because it doesn't have a complete thought or idea. Now, I give you one trick. If you put a conjunction word at the beginning of a sentence, it will become a dependent clause. Okay. Now, the words in blue below are called dependent marker words and will be explained in the next section. Examples. When I bake chocolate cake, that is dependent clause. But if I'm going to take out the conjunction when, I bake chocolate cake, it becomes an independent clause. So always remember that the trick is when you put a coordinating or subordinating conjunctions at the front or before the sentence, it will become a dependent clause. So this particular dependent clause, what happened when she baked the cake? So as you can see, this is not a complete thought or sentence, right? Do you agree with me? Next is if my mom is a doctor. So what happens if my mom will be a doctor? So this is also a incomplete thought, right? Okay, let's move on to the next example. While my mother taught me to read. So what happened while my teacher taught me to read? This is not also a complete thought, right? So it needs an independent clause. Next is because the woman sang. What happened because the woman sang? This is not also a complete thought, right? So do you agree with me? So in this particular junction, let us first understand the subordinating conjunction as well as its meaning so that you will understand how to create dependent clause as well as independent clause. Now, subordinating conjunctions like because, so that, as, since, when are you going to use it? You use these particular conjunctions when you're going to express cause or reason. For example, I was absent yesterday because I was sick, right? Then another, before, after, when. When are you going to use these particular conjunctions? You use this when you're going to express time. For example, my mother allowed me to eat dessert after eating a meal, right? Next is unless, if, even if. This particular conjunctions expresses condition. Like for example, if you're going to predict the weather, for example, if tomorrow is sunny, we are going to the beach, right? So you express condition. If this thing will gonna happen, then this thing will gonna particularly true, or it will be happening. Next is although, even though, whereas. You use this particular subordinating conjunctions when when the ideas express contrast, meaning they contradict each other. They don't agree with each other, right? Okay. So now let's move on to what can I do? Okay, so let's have a mental practice. Okay. Now, I want you to choose the appropriate subordinating conjunction to each sentence. Number one, you just choose two options. After, if camping, we clean the area of a trash. What do you think is the correct answer? So don't worry, I will reveal it later. Number two, we went camping and hiking so because we love the outdoors. Number three, at night we sang songs while because other scouts did some chants. Number four, when, unless we once went to a camping site, we rode on a bus. Number five, last number. We took some pictures so if we had souvenirs of some activities. Okay, now are you ready? We're going to check the correct answer. We're going to check if your guess or if your hunch is correct. Next. Okay, number one. The correct answer is after. After camping, we cleaned the area of trash. Number two, we went camping and hiking because we love outdoors. The answer is because. Why? Because you state the reason. Number three, at night, we sang songs while other scouts did some chants. Okay, you use while because you're explaining what the other is doing. Number four, the answer is when. When we once went to a camping site, we rode on a bus. Okay. Number five, we took some pictures so we had souvenirs for our activities. Okay. So do you understand? So now next slide, I want you to identify the underlying clause if it is dependent or independent clause. Remember that dependent clause doesn't have a complete thought or idea. An independent clause has a complete thought and complete idea. Number one, you need to rest because you are sick. So I want you to identify the underlined clause. Okay. You need to rest because you are sick. Number two, take plenty of water so that you will recover fast. Number three, unless you're healthy, you can go out and play again. Number four, you should not go to the public places unless you wear a mask. Number five, before you take any medication, make sure it is prescribed by a doctor. Okay, now I'll give you a few seconds in order you can analyze what is the correct answer. Okay? So let us presume that I already gave you 10 seconds. Okay. Are you ready for the answers? Okay. Next. Number one. The answer is dependent clause. Because you are sick. Number two. So that you will recover fast. It is also a dependent clause. Why? Do you know how to spot a dependent clause? It's very easy. How? You can spot the subordinating conjunctions at the first line of the sentence. Number three, you can go out and play again. That is independent clause. It conveys complete idea or complete thought. Do you agree with me? Now, number four, you should not go to public places. So this is independent clause. Number five, last number. Before you take any medication, that is also a dependent clause. Why? Because it doesn't convey complete idea, and it has a subordinating conjunctions at the first line or before the sentence. Do you agree with me? So I hope that you understand for our lesson for today, which is subordinating conjunctions, and the independent clause and dependent clause. So always remember that independent clause has a subject and a predicate and can stand alone. And it is called a sentence, right? Then always remember that we need dependent clause and independent clause to join together so that it will convey a complete meaning. Just like this example. I enjoyed biking since I was 10. See, we combine the independent clause and then the dependent clause to make a complete sentence. Then the second one is Jenny was absent yesterday because she was sick. So we combine the independent clause and the dependent clause so that it will become a complete idea and complete thought. You understand? Okay, so once again, thank you so much for watching my video. So I hope that you enjoy and you really understand my lesson for today. Once again, always remember that learning can be fun. Okay, bye. Thank you and have a blessed day.